Hey y'all, it's Favela Baby. We finally made it to YouTube. So, when anybody stumbling across this video, don't know who I am, have any idea who I am, I'm a poet that basically started sharing on my social media platforms and accidentally went viral. This happened after I had posted my first video on TikTok like a little more than 24 hours, and honestly, it just kept growing after that. It was not my intention. Like long story medium, my grandmother had passed in 2022, and it just kind of like shook things into focus for me. I was like, dang, what am I doing with my life? I wasn't no screw up, but I wasn't living in no type of purpose. So out of respect and to honor her, I was like, I'm a post a poem every day for 30 days straight. I had already written before that. I already kind of understood the impact of my words. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do what I think I'm supposed to do. I didn't think anything of it. I thought I was gonna go back to my regular life after that. So when I first started posting on Instagram, like on day one, I had like 4,000 something followers, and by day 30, I had literally hit 30,000 followers. So I'm like, I think that's a sign. So I kept going, and honestly, it has changed the entire trajectory of my life. Like, I can't even begin to explain. So basically with this YouTube channel, I want to continue to serve as some sort of inspiration if I can, to take some of the things that I use in my poetry, my life experiences, and the perspective that I've gained from it, and be able to share it with people so that, you know, maybe hopefully they're able to benefit from that too. And then of course, like my lifestyle, spend a day with me and come on some of these adventures with me that poetry is like offering at this point. So with all that being said, we're gonna get straight into these questions. I'm gonna do a question and answer. I had asked my followers, like, what do y'all want to know about me, so y'all can get to know me a little bit more, the girl behind the poems. So these are some of the questions that they asked, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer them. So let's get into it, y'all. One of the top asked questions was, where am I from? I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised. Another frequently asked question was, what's my real name? My real name is Reebee. So it's a pleasure to make y'all acquaintance. How long have I been writing? So I always wrote. I was always a writer. I always wanted to like fold paper in half and staple it down the middle and make little books when I was little. I started writing poetry probably like 2016. I started sharing 2018. And then consistently started sharing on my platforms in 2022. What's my biggest motivation or go-to when I'm not feeling like myself? Color. Like if I'm finding myself in like a funk, I like to work with color, whether that be painting, whether that be coloring, whether that be making jewelry. I just like to work with a lot of color because it feels like it brings me back alive. I like to make bouquets, like flower bouquets. I like to watch cartoons. That's like not related to color, but I guess that's colorful too. And then music. I love listening to music. And then of course I pray. I pray to be brought back to my center and find some sense of myself again. And when I'm in my right practice, I meditate. How was my life growing up in my city and what inspired me?
Got the time, you know I'm a shine. See me riding in the cuddy with the boy Brian.
So growing up in Cleveland, I feel like ask anybody from Cleveland. Cleveland makes you an extremely strong individual. It can be rough in Cleveland. So it makes you strong. It gives you a lot of perspective on life. It forces you to know things about life. So I feel like that inspired me, was just observing the world around me as it was happening. I've always been like an observer. So how to properly journal, I'm struggling. So there's no right or wrong way to journal. Just write about your day as a start. Like just write about, you know, like, dear diary, today the world had me messed up. And then you can write about the things that you noticed or felt. Just write from your heart. Just journal from your heart. You can find good journaling prompts on like Pinterest. And two, one thing that I have noticed that helps me a lot is like asking what part of myself is affected by this, whether it be something that made me happy. What did this remind me of in my life? What experience does this resonate with? Or if it's something that upset me, like what part of me is triggered by this? what memory do I have of this? And then from there, you can like start to go a little bit deeper. Don't want to be too nosy, but how did you get to be where you are mentally and spiritually? Like life experience, I finally got to the point where I don't want to say I snapped, but it got to the point where like something finally clicked. So when I started to look at myself and find a reflection of myself and everything that was going on around me, that was the biggest game changer for me. Realizing that like this world is just a reflection of what I have going on inside. It made me really take a look at like how I was living, how I was moving, so on and so forth. What made me get into writing? Do I remember the first poem I wrote? So I have brought a notebook to work with me. I used to work at a hospital third shift. I brought an empty notebook to work with me, and it just so happened that night one of my coworkers was like, "Hey, you might like this Janae song." So I listened to Janae New Balance, and it just inspired me to write. So I was like, I'm gonna write something in my notebook, and I wrote, and it rhymed, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it was talking about like um, not feeling like my voice mattered, and feeling like, am I a foolish person to be loving because this world is so harsh, and am I stupid to be kind? And basically, like, the poem just ended with me saying, like, it's still my choice to be that way no matter what this world is like towards me. So I still stand by that. What's my favorite color and my favorite flower? My favorite color is pink or yellow, and my favorite flower, I have so many different favorite flowers. I lily of the valley because they just so cute. They look like little bells. Like hibiscus because it's just giving beach. Hydrangeas because they look like friends. Sunflowers because they so proud. Roses because that's like a girl's best friend. What makes me smile? Butterflies, eating good food, spending time with my friends, my dog, um, sunsets, sun on my face, swimming. I'm just like a smiley person for real. You have such a beautiful soul. Doesn't your peacefulness come from trials and tribulations? Absolutely. One of my favorite little Instagram posts that I seen was like, you have to understand the violence that it took for me to become this gentle, or something to that extent. I've been through a lot of experiences, and they did teach me how to become a calmer individual, how to be a more loving individual. Um, Mostly because like I know what it feels like to be on the darker side of so many situations, and I don't ever want to be a person that causes somebody else to feel like that. So yes, my peacefulness does come from my trials and tribulations. Would you ever teach other people your style of poetry? I didn't know I had a style, so I don't know if I could teach it. But I would just say, like, if you wanted to write like me, just be yourself. I just write from my heart. Am I single? And if so, why? Yes, I'm single. And why? Because it's like my choice right now to be single. I would say, like, in past relationships, like, if we saying it like that, like, why did my past relationships come to be marriage? For one, I in past relationships never entered into a relationship thinking like this is going to be my husband. It's like I just entered into the couple relationships that I've been in as like I'm just going to get to know this person. You know, they evolved into relationships, and from there I feel like the way that I have looked at relationships in the past is just like experiencing. We're not meant to hold on to people. We're supposed to experience them in whatever capacity that they're available for. And I feel like my past relationships, they didn't have the capacity to make it a forever thing. And honestly, like at the time, I don't think I did either. I've always looked at relationships as something to learn and grow from. I had to just be realistic with knowing the capacity that people had, and you know, let them go when we couldn't go no further. So I hope that answers the single question. That came up so many times. Have a great day, but what's your skincare routine? Listen, right now I've been using the lemon turmeric kojic acid soap from TikTok shop. TikTok made me do it. And I love that soap so much. I'm going to be sticking with it for a while, I think. And then from there, I use whatever kind of toner I have, whether it be witch hazel or Ole Henriksen, daily, I think, oil control toner, or sometimes I use Good Molecules, the niacinamide brightening toner. After that, I put some oil on my face, whatever I got in the bathroom. I like Ole Henriksen vitamin C lotion. I put that on after the oil. And then if I'm really on top of my game, I take aloe vera leaf, I cut a piece off, and I rub it into my skin. And that's really the glow. So what is my motivation?
Don't worry about proving somebody wrong. Prove yourself right.
Being a better person. And I think another question that I had got was what keeps me going. It is knowing that I do want a family. I do want to be married, or at least have a forever partner one day. And I want to be the best version of myself for them. But I just want to continuously strive to be a better person so that I can be a wonderful mother to my kids, a wonderful wife to my husband. And if like marriage and a family is not in the cards for me, I don't lose my motivation, because at the very least I want to be the best version of myself for whoever's lives I reach. Just thinking about like what is going to come from me. I believe so much in love that I just feel like I gotta help people out. I've been through so much, and I know that I have a lot that people can learn from if they want to. So I'm just sharing my story along the way while I'm here. How does one find peace in such a chaotic world or situation? I would say having a center point that you can always return back to, like whether that be a belief system, whether that be a religion, whether that be meditation, just having something that you can come back to, that you can settle into. Like water, like let's say water in like a pond. If you run through the pond, the water, all the dirt comes up and it's cloudy, but after time passes, it's able to settle back down and you can see through. We have to be able to settle back in so that we can see clearly and regain our peace. So just having that center within ourselves that you can always come back to. Would I speak at schools for the youth if I had the chance? Absolutely. I've been blessed enough to be invited into a couple of schools to talk to the kids, and I loved it. I love the kiddos. I would do that every day if I could. I really thought about being a teacher. I still be thinking about, like, should I be a teacher? I don't know if that's my calling. I'll be praying about it, but it's definitely something I want to be able to have an impact on the kids, because they really are our future, and we have to be good examples for the little ones. Like, they need us. They need us to show them this world in a realistic and loving way. So, yes, I would love to speak to the kids. How can I help my mental health capacity? Therapy. Here's the thing about therapy. Therapy is not always talking about your traumas and going down this rabbit hole of everything that's wrong with you and woe is me and let's talk about our deepest, darkest secrets. That is not what therapy is at all. Part of it is coming face to face with things that you struggle with, but a lot of therapy is also talking about what's right, talking about what's going right, talking about what has gone right, talking about what works for you, talking about what doesn't work for you, and being able to build a stabilized structure for yourself so that you're able to regulate your mental capacity. Expression. I feel like writing, playing an instrument, painting, anything that allows you to express yourself freely in a way that gets your emotions out of your body, definitely helps with mental health. If we don't express our emotions in a controlled, structured manner, that like we are like nothing gets past us without us, right, checking it off. That's when things come up to the surface and they come out however they want to come out. And that's usually when you see people snap or, lose control of their emotional capacity. So it's just important to really be able to express yourself, whether it be talking to a trusted friend or family member, a therapist, writing in a journal, expressing through music, dance, movement, whatever you have to do to express and let that energy flow out of you in a controlled manner. It helps so much. What advice would you give somebody taking a girl out on a second date? First of all, congratulations on taking a girl out on a second date. First and foremost. Second, I would say bring some flowers and your best manners. Third, I would say, if on the first date you did something that y'all couldn't really like talk and like get to know each other, I would say like go somewhere that you can talk. If you did talk on the first date, for the second date, I would say go do something fun.
Whole lot of guns, I'm the young Rambo.
Like have the time of your life, have a blast. Go play laser tag or go karts or laugh together. Like really enjoy each other's company. Have a really good time. Like laugh, 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 play together. Like I know that sounds so childish, but it's like so necessary for us as humans. We need that. We need to be able to laugh together. What's my writing process? I love to sit down at a desk that's facing a wall or a table that's facing a wall. And I either put earplugs in so that it's silent, or I put my earpods in and listen to an instrumental, and then I just write down. Sometimes I scratch it, sometimes I keep going with it. Or other times I like to be in a car and just drive and just say stuff out loud until something starts to come together. What's the difference between being less agreeable and having an ego or being rude? I would say being less agreeable comes with a level of understanding for other people, whereas having ego or being rude, you're usually kind of closed off from being able to understand where the other person is coming from. And two, I would say, like, with that level of understanding, if you are less agreeable to something, you don't necessarily feel the need to speak on it. Whereas I feel like your ego sometimes will blow things out of proportion because you're so dead set on being right. You're not even open to understanding what another person's perspective might be able to teach you. What's my inspiration when I wake up every day? Waking up. Like opening my eyes is inspiration because I'm like, yes, God want me here again. What is the best and worst part about love, in my opinion? The best part about love itself. It's the best feeling in the world to just have that warmth in your heart towards someone or something or everything, honestly, because I think I'm in love with this existence. Like the sunsets, the butterflies, the clouds, food, the birds singing. Like it's so much to love here. The worst part about love is loss. I feel like the cost of love sometimes is lost. But I also feel like it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. I don't ever feel like I took no L by loving someone, ever. How would I define love, and do I prefer it over loyalty? I don't think there's no real definition for love. I think it's I think love is the life force that's flowing through us. I feel like love is um I feel like love is an action word. I feel like love is a describing word. I feel like love is what keeps us going. And do I prefer love over loyalty? Yes. Unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna explain why. So let's say you have. I'm gonna just use my own. I ain't even gonna say y'all. In my experience, something that I had to reflect on. So me and my ex had been broken up, and I just so happened to see him with the new girl that he was talking to, right? And this man was cheesing so hard. He was smiling so big. And at first I was like, I did not even know that he had that many teeth. Because I had never seen him smile that big, right? And of course, after my ego settled down or whatever, I kind of thought about it and I was like, if I love somebody, that's the goal, for them to smile with every single one of their teeth. Even if it's without me. I would rather, if I truly love somebody, I don't feel like love is selfish. So I would rather somebody go smile as big as they possibly can than to only smile half of the way with me. And I feel like that's where loyalty comes in at. Like, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to stay with me if it's at the expense of their fullest potential. So, and then two, I feel like if the lines of loyalty is crushed, you end up having some sort of malice in your heart. Whereas, like, if you love in an unselfish manner, you can let people go and the love can still remain, even without contact, without connection to you. But you can still just carry that warmth in your heart of knowing, like, I knew that person at one point in time. And, I hope they doing good. I hope they reaching their fullest potential. I hope they smiling with all their teeth until they old and their teeth come out, like, and then they smiling with all their gums. I would rather have love still in my heart, and know that I'm never hindering somebody's growth. How did I learn to love myself, and did you actually cross everyone out the pick? My self-love journey, okay? When I say I had to start from scratch, I had to start from the bottom, bottom. I was in such a low place at the start of my journey. I had no love for myself. I didn't really have any real regard for myself. I don't think. I was like struggling with like eating disorders, like all type of crazy stuff. And um literally at the beginning of my self-love journey, all I could do was express my gratitude for the parts of myself that I felt already loved me. So like I would just like thank you to my heart for beating even when I didn't want to keep going. Thank you for beating even when you was broken. Thank you for still beating when I wasn't listening to you. Like thank you just for wanting me to keep going. And then like my lungs, like thank you for breathing without me having to think about it. Even when you felt like you was gonna collapse because I wasn't listening to my heart. Thank you for my like that type stuff. That's where I really had to start from and just really become reconnected to myself. And then another thing that I did at the very beginning of my journey was I would set a timer for 30 minutes after I got out the shower, and I would just take my time to just rub my like shea butter, my lotion in, and like connect back to my body, like connect back to my legs, connect back to my arms, because I feel like um, when it comes to like traumatic experiences, our mind is kind in the way that it'll disconnect us from the experiencing what we're experiencing or the experience that's happening. But the thing is, rarely do we ever try to come back to ourselves after we have been disconnected. So what I'm saying is, in my experience, I have become disconnected from myself in certain situations throughout my life. And I had to reconnect to myself. I had to come back into this body and learn to appreciate being here and not being so dissociated. My mind had to come back into myself. So that is where my love journey, my self-love came from. And then from there, it grew after I, continued that practice. And I'm still learning to love myself. We changing all the time, and it's hard for us to constantly adapt to ourselves. So yes, that's how I learned to love myself. That was just the beginning, I should say. And did I have to cut everybody off? No. But I will say, as I grew and I created new boundaries for myself, people did fall off on their own, which is not a bad thing. It hurts sometimes, but it's for the better. It's for the best. Do I have any advice for people with depression and lacks motivation? Give yourself grace. Because I feel like depression automatically makes you super hard on yourself because you're like, why am I being like this? Like, you can't get out of these thoughts in your head. So I would say give yourself grace. Allow yourself to understand that you do have imbalance that's making you depressed. And don't feel like you have to fix everything all at once. I feel like little baby steps. Um, if you can. If you can get out the bed, that's a baby step. Even if it's just to get something to eat. Even if you don't have an appetite. If you can get out the bed to take a shower. If you can't get out the bed, but you can speak kindly to yourself while you're in the bed, that's a small win. Um, Also, I would say gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal and just start small, right? 3 things when you wake up that you're grateful for, 3 things when you go to sleep. Even if it's just, I'm grateful for these pillows, I'm grateful for this roof over my head. And if you don't have that, be grateful that you still got lungs that's breathing for you, a heart that's beating for you. If you don't got no roof over your head, be grateful that you can hear the birds singing. Like, just find anything to be grateful for. As long as you got lungs, air in your lungs, you can bounce back from anything. And then aside from that, I would say if you can get access to a therapist, I would say definitely go to a therapist. I'm going to always vouch for therapy. I've been going to therapy off and on like since I was a teenager, and I never gave up. I didn't always feel like it was working or that it was worth it, but now that I have found a therapist that I mesh well with, and I feel like we have been able to like make a lot of breakthroughs, I understand like why therapy is so important. A lot of these is people shooting a shot, so I'm gonna skip over those. Thank y'all though, like I appreciate the compliment. What's something you're proud that I've overcome, an obstacle, a goal? Understanding how to process my emotions. I still struggle with regulating them, but learning how to process them was a big game changer for me and my mental health. Just learning how to let them come through my body and understand them and recognize them and be able to articulate them was something that I'm super proud of, and I'm super thankful for that I was able to like learn and implement that into my life. Y'all finding out I'm a real hippie. A lot of my poetry is about healing. What's something that I had to heal from the most? So one thing that I feel like I've had to heal from the most that I'm still working through is worthiness. Like I feel like just from certain experiences in my life that made me feel like I'm not worthy of certain things. And when good things happen for me, I have a hard time not suffering from imposter syndrome, or I have a hard time not sabotaging. And not like in a burn the house down type of way. My own hesitancies or my own insecurities that'll cause me to like hold back. But I'm healing. You know, it's a process. That's part 1 of getting to know me, Q&A with Favela Baby. Thanks for watching. This feels so funny. See y'all in a minute.